Hey everyone, welcome back to the Rebel Crow Psychic Show with your host, Athena Silver. And
Hey guys. Hey guys, I'm Anja River.
tonight we're talking about past life experiences, what it's like to remember where you came from and even have attachments and different experiences that come through. I have always been interested in past lives because I have experienced different times in my life where I've either had dreams that were so realistic that they felt real, that I just knew like this was me at a different time. I've also had experiences that were stress induced, that were daytime waking experiences.
Ooh, like what?
So
We jump in like I just jumped in and interrupted
you're like,
your thing.
ooh, hot shit.
I want to know.
Let's talk about that. Okay, so when I was a kid, I've always had issues with anxiety and depression. Just it runs in the family, just is what it is, you know. And I noticed that there was times where either like an assignment at school was due, or there was a test coming up, or there was some kind of stress going on, and I would have these flashbacks every now and again of me being dressed head to toe in like plate armor, like the Middle Ages, and I'm on a horse, and the horse goes back, and I drop and I fall off, and I grab this sword and I'm swinging, and I just hear this voice, and it's my own voice, and I'm saying, if you drop this sword, you're gonna die. You got to just keep hitting people. And the whole thing, like the blood was like spraying all over me, like it was very visceral and carnal and primal. And
This is what was happening in
a couple of times
in your head while you're trying to study for a test at school. Like
it's like a panic attack. It's like a panic attack inducing vision.
Wow.
It's not fun. It's
Yeah.
quite the opposite.
Now I know why you're such a serious child. Like this is all going on like at the same time when you're just doing normal things.
Yeah.
How often did that happen?
I would say maybe like once or twice a year for the span of probably 10 or 15 years. It happens now every now and again too.
Did you know what it was when it was happening?
When I was a kid, I had no idea what it was, but it was always the same scene, the same exact way it happened. Everything looked the same, and it felt extremely real. And every time I come out of it, I'm sweating and my heart is pounding, you know, and I could just feel myself like feeling like I'm going to pass out. You know, I don't pass out. I'm able to calm myself when I come out of it. But when I'm in it, it feels like I'm not here anymore. Like I'm here, you know?
Right, right.
And at first I thought it was maybe linked to like psychic ability, but then I realized like it was happening so often. It would always happen exactly the same way. Nothing would change. Everything would be the same color. Nothing would, you know, it's not like 1 minute I'm on the horse, the next minute, you know, I'm sipping, having a beer. It wasn't like that. It was always the same scene played over and over and over again with these panic attacks.
When did you realize, or how did you find out or come to understand that this was a past life experience?
I was watching something on, I can't remember. I think it was either Oprah. I think it was Oprah. This was back in
she's helped so many.
For real. She has. Yeah. Oprah holds it down, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, I was watching, I think it was Oprah, and there was a guest on there talking about her past life experiences. Like she used to have them when she was a kid. And she would talk about, like, she would talk to her parents about, you know, living in this house and having this dog, and she had a different sister and stuff like that. And she was an adult at that point talking about it. And the way that she described it, like every time she would see it, it would always look exactly the same. It would just be the scene replayed over and over again. And it just dawned on me. I'm like, that's what's happening to me.
Yeah.
You know,
so I know a little bit about past lives. Like I actually did a ceremony once with a shaman who's amazing, and it was for something totally different, but this past life situation came up for me during the session. And it just, there's so much there about like when you haven't gotten through like some kind of karmic situation, this can come up again and again and again.
Oh yeah, you didn't learn your lesson in this life. They're going to send you back next time with the same lesson to learn. Just next time it's going to be a whole lot harder.
Do you think that, why do you think that it's come up for you? Like, why do you think you kept having the same vision?
Well, I think what I'm going through might be a little bit different. I, from what I can gather, it's part of the ascension process with vibration. Every single soul and every single object and atom in this universe is tuned to a certain vibration. When you are doing a lot of spiritual work, when you're doing a lot of personal growth and spiritual growth type of work, your soul starts to elevate higher and higher and higher. And at certain frequencies, you can actually tap back into past lives.
Okay.
I'm thinking for me that it's not a constant thing. It's kind of a breakthrough thing. I notice when I'm doing ceremony a lot, when I'm very devoted, when I'm venerating the ancestors properly and praying a lot and eating right and living in right relationship, I notice sometimes I'll have these dreams. Sometimes it'll come to me in an astral journey session or in a meditation. Sometimes I'm washing dishes or driving a car, and that's when the visions come. I've had it got a lot worse after I had my children. Psychically, something happened to me when I had my first child, and ever since that experience, I've between getting sick with 2 chronic conditions, trying to bring kids into this world, something psychically happened. And I just feel like I opened up and I started vibrating higher and higher gradually. And I think a lot of it, that's the bulk of when I started to remember things, is when I was really getting deep into it.
Yeah. Right.
And
that's interesting.
Yeah, sometimes it's fun and lighthearted and, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then sometimes it's like, oh my God, what am I looking at? Like, wow, that explains a lot.
The best like past life experiences, I feel like, are when you have some sort of gift that you just pick up and you're like, there's no reason for you to be so gifted at this situation. And most likely it's because you were, you worked on it in a past life.
Oh, definitely. A lot of people bring affinities through. I have an affinity for like gardening and sewing and even spiritual and healing work. And I could tell you that the spiritual and the healing work is because I have done this in many different lifetimes. I've gone to different elders and they've said that, I've gone to different readers. It's come up, but it all comes. I'm not doing this on accident. I'm here for a reason. There's a divine reason I'm here,
Well, for all of us, right?
Exactly.
We all have a divine purpose and a divine,
well, that's what I mean. We're all doing work when we're here. It's just some of us don't realize it's work and some of us do.
Yeah. And so like, I find it funny because my dad, he actually, you wouldn't expect him to be like a super spiritual person.
Oh, but he's super psychic, your dad.
Yes, he
is.
But he doesn't know it. That's the craziest part about it. So I love his story because he would tell me, hopefully he's okay with this, but he would tell me that he would have recurring dreams about dying in World War II.
Yep.
And
he told me about those too.
Yeah. And it's fascinating for me because I've also had similar dreams that align with him, that I was also in that era in, I guess, my last lifetime. It must have been my last lifetime, like it must have been so quick. If in fact it's actually indication of a past life experience, which, I say, why not just, trust your intuition
Oh,
even when,
definitely. And that's the thing, is a lot of times you find these links through your intuition. I've always been fascinated with, the Amazon jungle and the rainforest, and, how it sustains the earth, and things like
Mhm.
that. And, by doing past life regression therapy and actually going back to these lifetimes, I'm now able to understand why. It's because I've spent time there. It's because I've broke bread there. I've raised kids there. I've been raised myself there. But just because I didn't experience it in this lifetime doesn't mean I've never been there before. It doesn't mean I didn't learn those things before. It doesn't mean I don't carry that knowledge, because I do. And
Yeah.
it's like that for all of us. You know,
Right.
we're forming these personalities. That's what this soul experience on being on earth is. It's to develop the personality and to develop the soul into a highly developed, highly ascended vibration. So
Right.
we
And
come down here, this is a training camp, and this is why you need to take your spiritual life seriously, by ignoring it and going through the world the way that it is right now. It's bringing a lot of people depression, and there's a lot of unnecessary suicide and homicide, because people are not living the way that they need to be living in order to satisfy that mission.
right. Right. Yeah. You touched upon something about the places too. I find that uh, I find that to be like an amazing example, because so many of us have been in situations where, if we're fortunate enough to travel, you travel to a place that you've never been before, and you all of a sudden realize, oh my gosh, like this is home. Like
Well, I had
this
that
is
experience twice,
me too
profoundly.
twice. Me too
Yeah.
twice.
So you go. Where's your places?
Arizona
Hmm.
and Scotland. And I don't know. I didn't even, when I went to Arizona for the first time in 2005, it was because the person I was with at the time wanted to go visit his friend. I had no, like, I didn't, I had no desire really to go. And before we landed on the tarmac, I had said to myself, I'm moving here. I'm moving here. I'm moving here one day. Like
Yeah.
this is home. And every single second I spent there, it just felt like it was home. And I've never had a feeling like that before about a place. And then when I went to Scotland, it was the same thing. And funny enough, like my mom's side is Caucasian, and I didn't know a whole lot about, I knew some places that they were from, but I didn't know that we were actually part Scottish too. And it was my great grandmother. So it was like kind of recent,
Yeah.
it wasn't like too far back. Um, and I went there and I had the same kind of feeling where like, I was just going because we were going to Europe, and my friend was like, hey, do you want to go to France or Scotland? And I was like, I want to go to Scotland.
Yeah.
you know and we went. And you know what the craziest part about going there was? I realized I picked the spot where I'm living right now in the United States looks so much like Scotland. It looks like the Highlands in Scotland. And it's actually a lot of areas, I think it's called the Highlands here. There's Highland on the other
Yeah.
side of the
There's
river.
Highland and Highland Falls.
It looks so much like the Highlands in Scotland. And there's like this castle in the middle of the Hudson River, and that was built by a Scottish dude 100 years ago. I'm pretty sure he was Scottish. And the correlation between that, like I was like, I picked this place, and then I went to this other place and just felt like, I mean, maybe there's some correlation going the other way, but I don't know. It's just, it felt like I belonged there and I was one of the people. And it's an amazing feeling. I like to do some, you and I should do some journeys together on this stuff.
Hey, count me in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Let's do it.
I had similar experiences. The first one that really hit me was when I went to Ireland with my husband. I, to my best of my knowledge, have no Irish ancestry on either side. But the minute we touched down, the wheels down from the plane on it, I felt vibrationally like I have been here before.
Yeah.
And just walking through it, I've had crazy dreams. Every time I go there, I have crazy dreams, and they're super vivid, and they're just like very earthy, very like old world, ancient feeling. It's I wish we had vocabulary to accurately describe the feeling, but we don't.
Yeah.
We don't even have words for it. And it felt like I've been there before. I lived there before. Like, you know, these were my people at one point, you know, but the dreams there were very bizarre.
What were
I
they?
kept having dreams of small, like ancient villages and like fire ceremonies on top of these like mounds. Um, I've had dreams of riding a white horse in the woods. Just very strange, and it's always the same horse. And I know that I'm a woman with red hair, and because I keep seeing the red hair float in front of my face, and I keep pushing it back when I'm riding the horse. So it's like, I know I'm a woman, I know I have red hair, but it's like, I don't know what I'm doing there, you know? The other place that really had a profound feeling was when I went to Puerto Rico. That place energetically to me feels like home.
Yeah.
Every time, every minute of the days that I was there, I was like, I need to move here. I need to come back here. Like, I clearly come from this place. It was the first time.
Well, we know we do, right?
Well,
You know, like our,
but
right.
But for me, it was the first time that I saw Puerto Rican people that look like me.
Right.
You know, because when we're from New York, so all the Puerto Rican people up here are very dark complected with, you know, beautiful, big curly hair. And you don't see a lot of like native people, you know, because you see where it's a strange mix on the island. You know, most people that are Puerto Rican are Taino, African descent, and Spanish descent. So it's like you got the three lines coming together. So you see people in all different shapes, colors, sizes, the whole thing. But up here, you don't see as many light-skinned Puerto Ricans. You know, Puerto Ricans that are just, you know, smaller and light-skinned and, you know, with straighter hair, you know. So that was the first time that I really saw like more than one person that actually looked like me. You know, so that was really profound, because up until that point, I had always felt like a little bit lost being very light skinned, you know.
You felt like the other were, or I'm guessing, right? Because that's how I felt growing up. Puerto Rican in the States. I felt like I never really felt like completely like I belonged in any one category.
I didn't feel, you know, Puerto Rican enough or enough. You know, it was always in between. Because even in being in a Puerto Rican family, you still got a little bit of that colorism going on. And, you know, I had gotten a lot of bullying even in the family, you know, calling me Blanquita, you know, calling me, you know, white girl, or like the colorism. And it's like, your soul is what your soul is. It's the way that you identify. It's not about other people. It's about you. And being there, I felt more like me than I think I've ever felt. Like, I felt like I belong here. I come from here. I have blood here. My relations are from here. This is home.
Did you ever have any past life? Did you ever have any dreams or like?
Oh, yeah.
What
I dream
happens?
about Puerto Rico all the time, even to this day. A lot of times when I journey, if I'm just in an astral journey and I say, you know, show me where I need to be, guarantee you it brings me to the island. I had a very profound experience around the time the Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico and destroyed and devastated the island and killed a bunch of people. I had a journey about, I want to say about 2 months before that, where in this journey, I don't even remember why I was journeying, but I got brought to the island, and this old woman came up to me and she told me, she said, you know, there's going to be a lot of hurt to this island. This island is suffering. You know, the plants are dying, the people are dying, the wildlife is dying, the earth is dying. And it's because we're not living right. We're taking too much. And it had, even still, like, so vivid. Like, I could feel the sand under my feet. I could feel the wind on my skin. You know, this woman felt like she was standing right in front of me.
It's so
And
interesting though, because it seems like it's almost like a guide or an ancestor
oh, it was definitely an
or
ancestor. Um,
yeah.
but
Yeah. And it's
she was showing me all that what we're doing, and the like the overtaking of resources. There was also a lot of offshore drilling going on at the time,
yeah.
which caused a lot of problems. There's a lot of issues going on in Puerto Rico.
Right.
Economic issues, there's hardly any opportunities on the island. It's a very bad situation. There's a lot of corruption. There's always been a lot of corruption. The Puerto Rican people are hurting, and most of all, the Mother Earth is hurting.
Right.
We're going through this
Yeah.
climate change, acting like we're going to have a future here. And
Well,
we've got to be mindful and pull the reins back, because that's going to help us to get control over things and to come back into good relationship and good balance. We've got to be mindful of our actions.
But it's an interesting thing that you're putting into my mind about questioning, because I feel like there is a fine line between the idea of the past lives and then the guides and the ancestors. Like when you get a prophetic dream about a past life situation, it's different, right? Than like when you have dreams where your guides are coming in and telling you, hey, this is something that I want you to do, or a place that I want you to be. Like the past life situation, I feel like comes up more when you have
you can have guides
some
in your past life experiences.
Really
Yeah,
interesting.
you
Oh,
can.
okay.
It's typically they're showing you something like where you went wrong, or they're trying to give you context information about the experience.
Yeah,
You
right.
can also come into an encounter with somebody in your past life vision, and that person you can identify might be somebody now,
Yeah.
and that this person has been brought back to you twice to help you with a certain situation.
I got to tell you, I have many karmic relationships, and actually most of them are really good.
Good.
I don't
You're
know if
lucky.
that's something that a lot of people experience. Usually karmic relationships, relationships with people who you've had relationships with in the past lives, usually or not usually, but I feel like a lot of people tend to feel that they're very difficult relationships. And I have had, I actually have I believe I have a karmic relationship with my mom, who passed away in 2009. And we had a difficult relationship. And I love her so much, and I know she loves me, but we had a really difficult relationship in life. And
I have a similar karmic situation with my mother.
yeah,
We've definitely spent time with each other in different roles in past
yeah.
lives. We have too much history there to not,
When I went to this shaman in, I guess it was maybe like 2016 or 2015 or something like that. And when I went on the journey, I saw that I had been my mother's mother in the previous lifetime.
mm-hmm.
And that's exactly the reason why. And I wasn't the greatest mother to her. And that was the reason why we were having this karmic relationship in this life. It was like, like a rebalancing.
Yeah.
It was so,
You got your second chance.
Yeah, it was so impactful and so meaningful for me to realize that. And it was an intense thing to integrate though. So
definitely. There's a lot of repercussions that are rolled up into it.
Anytime you're uncovering a past life situation that goes from lifetime to lifetime, I think it's impacts are so huge, but I would like to know about those people who go to past life regression over like phobias. I think that's fascinating. Like wondering if they have
phobias
a
can pass
success.
over. Yeah, phobias can. There's a lot of people who have who are afraid of spiders. They don't understand why. It could
Yeah.
be because they had, you know, an issue with spiders in the previous, you know, lifetime. There's people who have been, you know, killed by poisonous snakes who are deathly afraid of snakes, or people who died in car accidents and they won't even drive, they won't even get in a car, and they don't understand why.
Yeah, I had
So
a lot of
definitely a
issues.
phobia is a manifestation of and a symptom of a past life connection that's being brought through.
Yeah. Right.
Typically when you're having these phobias, you know, it's because something happened, you know,
Hmm.
previously, either previously in your life or previously in the life before that.
Right.
Uh, and it's an indication that you need to do some work to
Right.
to reconcile it and to put it back in its box.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a phobia of flying. So
Yeah, I don't like
I
it
feel
either.
like
I
I,
become the stereotypical religious Latina mom. I break out the rosary and start, you know, praying, you know, in the seat.
yes.
I come for you would love it. I come first of all, I'm decked in crystals to begin with, but then I put on all my talismans. I look like freaking Mr. T going through security. It's hilarious. There's so many times that people give me dirty looks that like, you're gonna take that jewelry off, right? Like, we're trying to go through security. You need to take your shit off, right?
How long does it take you to take it all off and put it back on?
Oh, it takes at least 15 minutes. And God forbid I have like shoes with laces. That's
Oh
taking me
God.
20 minutes tops.
Oh God. Yeah. I have actually a lot of issues with the transportation in general. It's gotten a little bit better, but I actually did go to somebody in 2010 about it because it got really bad. Nothing really to report there. Like, I don't have any big stories about that, but I've always wondered if it was like a past life situation that
Yeah.
makes me terribly, terribly afraid of transportation in general.
Well,
Doesn't necessarily need to be. It could
I
be
have
something totally
really
different.
I have really bad fear of heights. I get really bad vertigo. I can't even use like a step ladder. It's
Really?
really bad.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that about you.
Oh yeah. I mean, getting even to stand on a chair is like borderline freaking me out. Um
Wow.
I really think I must have fallen off from somewhere high and died. That's the only
Yeah.
thing that makes sense to me because I've always been that way even since I was a little kid. I don't like being up high. I like being firmly planted on the ground where my tiny ass belongs. I'm 5'2" for anybody who don't know. I'm tiny.
Yeah, me too. Um, I was gonna, never mind. I was gonna say something else about the past life experience.
It can be very healing to know certain things. Um, but it can also throw you for a loop. I've had a couple of past life regression sessions that have definitely thrown me for a loop. Finding out information about myself that I still to this day don't know how to think about it. It just, you know, it's just one of those things. Like, you certain things you'll find out and you're like, I get it, I understand it, but what the hell? You know?
Is it a situation like you're shocked at something that you were participating in, or oh,
No,
you don't have to
it
say.
was to realize who I was,
Okay.
and what I did with my life.
Okay.
um there's definitely been sometimes like even there's even past life stuff you come around and you're like, wow, I didn't realize I was part of the problem, you know.
Yeah.
But it's all part of your spiritual development and your divine development of your soul. You know, we come
So you
down
have to
here for
be
a reason, you
you have
know.
to be really ready to be super loving with yourself if you're going to go into a past life regression.
Yeah,
I
honesty is
feel like
hard.
like super loving and super compassionate for yourself, um because this is all, like part, like you said it beautifully, it's part of the human experience, like that we kind of manifest in all different ways, and we are made up of everything, we're made up
That's
of.
not even going into the multiverse and
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
multi-dimensional
yeah,
realities. You know, we're on a quantum level. People don't realize that, you know?
yeah.
Um,
I have this little saying, which is like, I'm a little cautious about saying it, but I say to myself a lot of times that we're made up of the divine and the demons. And, demons not meaning like literal demons, but,
no, but the good
like
and the
that we're
bad,
just
yin and
made up
yang.
with, yeah, we're made up everything, and we embody everything, so that when you go into these past life experiences and you're like, oh my gosh, what was that, and there's also a cultural context as well, that we don't have the framework necessarily for those things that we were way back when.
Yeah, and a lot of us lost the ability to integrate the knowledge, or even just to come across a realization of understanding.
Yeah.
It's a common problem in the West. A lot of us don't, that we see the signs, we know they're signs, but then we have doubt, and it negates the entire experience. The same thing when it comes to past lives and even astral travel. The minute you put that seed of doubt, the entire experience gets cheapened.
Yeah.
It doesn't integrate properly. There's always that I don't know aspect, whereas when you approach it honestly, you approach it respectfully and humbly, you understand that you are part of something a lot bigger than you even know.
Mm-hmm.
And you come at it from a humble perspective and just see and watch and learn. That's when you're able to integrate it. That's when you're able to learn the lesson. That's when you're able to elevate.
That's excellent advice.
And meditation is key. Meditate. It helps with everything. It helps with psychic development. It helps with your relationships. It helps with your stress level. It helps even losing weight.
Yeah.
The minute you stress the hell out, your experience is not going to be fun. It's not going to be enlightening. It's going to be terrifying.
I did some binaural beats today, and I love binaural beats, and I got like a whole cleansing from a guide while I was doing it. It was so amazing. And that's it. The binaural beats are actually really great for people who have problems with meditation, because it kind of just takes over for you.
Well, that's what I use for
can.
trance meditation. I'll use like theta wave tracks that you can find them on YouTube. They're just, it's repetitive to sound. A lot of times it's drum beat, so it sounds like bum, 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 bum. Those are the best ones to do really deep meditation, like super deep, like spelunking within your soul.
Spelunking, soul spelunking.
Soul spelunking, all about soul spelunking.
That's amazing. That feels like the place where we should stop. Soul spelunking. Yeah.
Yeah, let's call it a night with the soul spelunking. Yeah. Strap on your cave diving equipment. Let's go soul spelunking. Yeah. Anyway, guys, we hope you enjoyed our silly topic tonight. It was serious, but we ended on a silly note. It is what it is, If any of you are interested, we hope you like, subscribe, and follow Rebel Crow Psychic Show. If you want to know more about us, you can find us on rebelcrowpsychicshow.com. Our podcast is now on YouTube at the Rebel Crow Psychic Show, and we're available on all major podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all the big ones. So share it, like it, tell your neighbor, tell your homegirl. Share us around, Also, we want to know what you want to hear about, Send us a DM on social media or on our website or something, hit us up. We want to know what topics you want to know about. We want to know what you want to learn about. We're here to help. We're trying to build community here. I'm Athena Silver. If anybody is looking to have a reading with me, I do professional tarot readings and mediumship readings and spiritual advisement and cleansing services. You can find me at readingswithathenasilver.com. I'm also on Instagram at athena.silver, and I'm on Facebook at Readings with Athena Silver. So hit me up if you're looking for services, and, we'll set it up. What about you, Anja? Where can they find you?
I do readings as well. I am on Instagram at Anja River, ANJARIVER. Facebook, the same.
All right. We're going to be doing virtual psychic fairs and hopefully psychic fairs in person. So check out, news for that. On an upcoming episode, I'm going to be a guest on a podcast called Business Talk Radio 1. That's going to be July 15th for anybody who's interested. I'm going to be posting it up on the social media soon. Anyway, we wish you guys peace, love, happiness, lots of sticky icky. You know what it is. you know, have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Bye.